Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation on assessing writing with focus on second language writing. I am Dr. Vahid Aryadus from the National Institute of Education of Nanyang Technological University of Singapore. So today we're going to talk about the assessment of writing. I will draw upon two book chapters by Weigel, which were published in 2002, one titled The Nature of Writing Ability and the other one Scoring Procedures for Writing Assessment. Well, of course, I will also review quite a little bit from other sources. Along the way, I will mention the titles and the name of the authors. So what I'm going to start off with is a background about writing models and writing assessment models. This is the way that I conceptualize the ideas that were presented by Weigel and of course other scholars. And I do not expect that everyone would agree with me. Okay, the first thing that I would like to elaborate on is that there are three kinds of models. In this presentation, I'll try to focus on the first two, socio-cultural models and cognitive models, with more attention paid to cognitive models, because that's the field that I investigate more often than the socio-cultural models. There is another group of models which you could call revision models. I'm not sure if I will find time in this presentation because there's quite a lot to discuss, but I will try to just touch on some of the advances and developments in that field as well. Regarding writing assessment models, I should say that there are at least three approaches to scoring. Well, basically, I'm referring to these types of scorings as models, and this might not necessarily be agreeable with everyone, but just for the sake of simplicity, really, I'm going to refer to them as models. So the first model is the holistic model, and the other one is analytical model, and the other one is the primary trait model, which I am going to elaborate on. So let's get started with the first one, and I'm going to have to move this video a little bit to the left-hand side. Right, the sociocultural perspective to writing basically has two major components. One is, well, it's the social component, and the other one is a cultural component. The social component is has a focus on two major categories. One is the audience, and the other one is social conventions. And the cultural dimension has to do with whether you're coming from a culture which is similar to the second language in which you're writing, or you're coming from a different culture. The claim is that if the two cultures are similar, then the kind of rhetoric that the author will produce will probably be similar as well. On the other hand, if the cultures are different, like Spanish, Arabic, and English, if you can call them culture, I mean, people who speak Spanish, people who speak Arabic, and those who speak English as their first language, clearly have differences in their culture. So that set of difference in their cultures can also affect the way that they think, and as a result, the way that they write, and for that matter, the way that they speak. One of the first studies that pointed out these cultural differences and their impact on writing is by Kaplan in 1966. It's quite dated right now, but it's an interesting way to look at the effect of sociocultural factors on writing. Kaplan is probably one of the first scholars who discussed contrastive rhetoric and kind of differentiated between different cultures and different rhetorics in different languages. So here is the model that he proposed, a kind of schematic representation. He claimed that English people write in a straight line. That's the conceptualization of their writing. Whereas people, for example, from the Orient, that's most likely Asia, if they're writing in English, and if English is their second language, they're actually writing in the form of a spiral, inward spiral. In other words, they are probably more circumlocutory and beat around the bush, and the main topic, the main focus of their writing comes right at the end of their writing that they have produced. This has implications for construct definition.